we're gonna dial in the marketing now. Everybody loves marketing, right? Who doesn't love to talk about prospecting, right? But here's what I see a lot of people do is they're gonna take a dart, okay? Let's pretend, actually there's no dartboard. We're just gonna go like this, right? We got no target. You don't even know who you're talking to. It's just random because you get afraid and you get fearful, and then you're gonna start advertising you're just throwing money. You want to just take money and flush it down the toilet. Because even if you're not spending money, because you're like, well, David, Facebook is free, so it doesn't cost me anything. Your time is worth more than that. Your time is worth more than that. You're wasting your money and you're wasting your time when you don't know who you're going after and what you're doing and what you anticipate the results to be. Okay? So we're not going to do that anymore. That is immature entrepreneur mindset. Okay? You're not going to do that anymore. You're not going to do anything that you can't track. Right, Warren? You're not going to do anything that you're not going to track or you can't track. That is that is BS. You're not going to do it anymore. All right? So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to design your customer avatar. Okay? Your A+, not your B, not your, oh man, I'm a little low on cash this month, so I'll take a C or D or F. Oh, we hate working for those people because they're such a pain in the butt, right? You're going to describe your customer avatar. And whatever that is for your industry. I know people have got so many different industries here. Patient, customer, client, whatever it is. What does your A+1 look like? Okay, and I'll tell you why you're going to do this in just a second. When you're going to build your A+, you all know, think of right now in your head, who would I love to work for only? If I had one person, like a real person, not a made-up person, a real person that you've worked with in the last year or 5 years, what is that A+ person? You're like, man, I wish I only had you. I wish I only had you for the rest of my life. Oh my gosh, my life would be amazing because it'd just be so much fun, right? That person that you have in your mind right now, who are they? How old are they? Where do they live? How much money do they make? What kind of property do they own? How many kids do they have? What businesses do they own, or what do they do for work in case they're not entrepreneurs? What are their goals? What are their dreams? Who are their advisors? Who do they listen to? And if they don't have advisors, then if they're married, it's their spouse, okay? By default, right? Who do they trust? Where do they spend their time? What kind of problems do they have? What are their worries and fears? And what keeps them up at night, all right? And then when you know that, now you can solve their pain, right? You guys in the HVAC business, holy crap, when my air conditioner died, when it was 105 degrees out and I had to move my kids downstairs and sleep by the door because that was the only spot that was cool for them to actually breathe safely at night, other than being in 110 degrees upstairs, that was a pretty big pain. That was a pretty damn big pain point. That was miserable. I hated it, right? Quick, open up the windows at 5 o'clock in the morning to try to get any cool air you can into the house, right? Because your air conditioner just took a crap, right? That's a big pain point, right? So basically for you guys, what you need to do is, how do I get it so that you know me before that happens? It's like a criminal defense attorney, right? Not to say you're like a defense attorney, but it's the same kind of concept. They're not going to market to someone before they go to jail. Unless the person knows they're going to jail next week, they likely are not anticipating that they're going to get arrested, right? They need to know the criminal defense attorney before they get arrested so that when they do have that, they know it. Unless they're habitual, I'm going to jail in a month. I just know it, right? I just know it's going to happen. I'm getting arrested. I speed every day. Eventually, I'm going to get pulled over, and I'm going to have my attorney's business card, right? That kind of thing. That's kind of like, and then you get people on your maintenance plan, and then they only go to you, only, right? This is the kind of things, but you've got to know this. If you don't know this about your A+ client, patient, customer, joint venturer, whatever, right? You can't build a marketing campaign. How are you going to build a marketing campaign if you don't even know who you're marketing to, right? Holy crap. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go on Facebook and just do random stuff. Nope, you're not going to do that anymore. That will produce nothing. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to start taking D clients out of desperation. And then you're going to hate your life because now they're like just a pain and they're cussing out your staff and all this other stuff, right? I want you to adapt a no assholes policy in your business. Do it. No assholes policy. I don't care how much my revenue has been this month. I will not let an asshole hire me. Write it down. Put it in your pocket. Put it up on your wall. No assholes policy allowed ever, period. Will not serve them. Go somewhere else, right? But if you know what your F is, then know what your A plus is, because that's who you're marketing to only. You're only going to market to your A plus. For me, I work with a lot of different entrepreneurs, right? But my A plus entrepreneurs have things in common, right? They have things in common. And I market to them only. Do not market to someone, that's constantly getting sued. And then oh my God, David, please bail me out of this. Nope, not going to do it. That's not my thing. It's not my thing. I will not work with someone like that. Take some time. It should be in your business. It is in your business plan. Write down. Now, I know this is extremely truncated, those in the marketing sphere, they do this probably weeks with their clients, customers, or for themselves. This is extremely abbreviated, but who do you want more of? If you're like, I don't care, anybody, wrong. It's not anybody, right? They have something in common that you love about them, right? Maybe they take advice. Maybe they are willing to pay for good service. They're not shopping around. Oh, wow. I used to think my competitor was LegalZoom. Wow, that is wrong. That LegalZoom actually is a great referral partner of mine. Great referral partner. Because when you screw it up, you're going to come talk to me, right? Eventually, and it'll cost 3 times as much because now I got to fix what LegalZoom did, right? I used to think LegalZoom was my competitor. There's something like that for you guys, right? Oh my gosh, boom, whatever it is, right? Number one, you got your unique differentiating value, right? That value proposition, you have that. But now you have your A-plus client. You have your A-plus client definition, okay? Let's keep on moving on just for sake of time. The next thing you need to know about your ideal prospect, okay, is how do they make decisions about you and what you do, all right? There's some, if you go after big businesses, Enrique, you're probably speaking to people who have a board. They have a board of directors potentially. They definitely have multiple levels of decision makers in their businesses, right? You're doing mergers with companies that are very large. Very unlikely there's going to be one guy making the choice, right? There's going to be a group of them, right? I got to talk to my attorney. And if you're not at that level, guess what? If they're married, they got to talk to their spouse, right? They got to talk to their spouse. David, I can't make a decision today. I got to talk to my spouse, right? So their decision maker is their other half, right? Whatever it is, you need to know, where do they go to meet someone here's another thing. Where do they go to meet someone that offers your services, okay? I had a very powerful appointment with someone over lunch. We were just having lunch. And they said, David, I'm marketing here in Facebook, okay? Marketing Facebook. I was like, well, aren't you looking for investors? Yeah. Do you think your investors are in Facebook looking for investment opportunities? No, right? No. It was not his fault. He just hadn't thought through it. Where do your people go actually looking for what you do? Some of you are 100% in the social media space, right? It's 100% in the social media space. That's fine. But for me, how many of you guys are really looking for a business attorney on Facebook? Come on now. I don't care how good my videos are, and I actually think my videos are decent. But, honestly, you guys are probably not looking for a business attorney on Facebook. Most of you, now it's different for all of you, but most of you guys talk to your CPA. Maybe a friend advised you, recommended you, right? Your CPA said you got to go talk to David. Maybe it was through Shoop Legal that you came over here. You know what I mean? That's how you guys, most people are looking for business corporate attorneys to represent their businesses, not on Facebook. So I got to know that. Same thing with you guys. Where are they going? Go to where the fish is. Go to where the fish are, right? What process do they go through prior to making a decision? Again, you need to speak to that decision maker when you're doing your marketing, okay? Speak to the decision maker, and who do they talk to prior to making a decision? Same kind of thing. Again, in Enrique's business, he's got to talk to the chairman of the board. He's got to talk to the president if he's not meeting with the president, right? You got to talk to their attorney, or if you're doing government contract work, totally different than if you're going after people who live in town that have a broken air conditioning, right? You got to talk, it's different, all right? But you need to understand this because this will impact your marketing 100%, okay? So now this is where we're going to actually dial this in a little bit more, okay? So buckle up, here we go. How many leads do you need? Now that we know who you're marketing to and how they make their decisions, which will impact your marketing, right? Now we're going to determine how many leads you need. This right here is a powerful exercise. If you have not done this before to actually logically determine how many prospects, leads, whatever that you need, this is going to revolutionize your business. You're going to do this monthly, quarterly, annually, etc. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. I know you can't really see it all the way, especially all the way in the back. So you're going to take that target revenue for 2025. Now we're going to determine how many leads you actually need to get your target revenue in 2025. Okay, you got that number, right? Is maybe next to your computer on a napkin or is in your Word document. Your projected gross revenue, the big number, the total sales, right? Now we're going to determine how many leads you actually need. Okay? Now, I want you to start writing these things down. It's in your Word document, your business plan, okay? What is your average customer worth to you? Your average transaction value. Now, if you don't know it, guess, right? Okay, let's say, for example, I'm ballparking here. Okay, some of your jobs installing small stuff, $100. But then you got the big repiping jobs, $5K, $10K, whatever it is. How many maybe it's a little bit lower because I have more of the smaller stuff than I do the bigger stuff, right? But then you ballpark, right? Maybe 40% between those two numbers, right? Maybe it's a little bit on the lower end, what that average customer value is. You need to come up with a number, okay? And that is basically what it is now, not what it's going to be in 2025. We're going to look at what it is now, all right? Because then you're going to bump it up. You got to know kind of where you're at. What is an average customer worth to you? Whatever it is for your business. If you don't know it, make it up, okay? You're going to revise it, all right? Now, you're going to need to know, and again, if you don't know it, guess, okay? You get connected with a prospective new client, all right? The second number you're going to write down is if you get introduced to someone, Facebook, someone calls in, someone goes to your website, someone gets referred to you via email, whatever, how many of them do you actually connect with in terms of percentage? All right? A connection percentage rate. All right? Now, these numbers are going to be different based on what kind of business you have, right? I 100% know that. But you're connected with a prospect some way, somehow. Even if it's a returning new customer, returning new client, because you work with the same clients over and over again, right? Or someone introduces you to someone, you're likely not connecting with 100% of them. And if you are, that's freaking amazing, right? But most of us are not connected with 100% of our leads, right? And then you make an appointment with them, they come into the shop, or they're supposed to come in, or they're here to look at the menu for you guys, or whatever it is, right? Their show-up rate to that call, to that appointment, to that whatever that first step is, there's going to be a drop-off. What is that drop-off? I just call it the show-up rate. It's whatever it is for you. How many of those guys actually pick up the phone for the sales call? You call them for their sales call, they don't pick up. That means they didn't show up, right? So what is that drop-off rate? It's a percentage. Again, if you don't know exactly what it is, does not matter. Take a guess, okay? And then how many of those people that you actually speak to on the phone, in the store, meeting with the owner, whatever, right? You're at their home and they got a broken air conditioner. How many of those guys book or pay? Sign up. Become paying clients, customers, patients. That's a conversion rate. What's your conversion rate? What is your conversion rate currently, okay? You need to know these numbers because now what you're going to do is you're going to bump them up. You're going to bump them up. You're going to increase them, all right? And I'm going to give you examples in just a second, but you've got to know what these numbers are. So take a guess, all right? If you don't have a good CRM, meaning like a customer portal that tracks your numbers for you, number one, write that down. You're going to want to work with someone to help you with that, to actually get that for you. If you don't know these numbers off the top of your head, this is something you want to take a look at. You want to be able to pull reports for your customers, your clients, your patients. How many people did we connect with this week? How many actually showed up to their call, their Zoom, their in-office appointment, whatever? The store, right? The shop, the web, whatever. Someone submits a web forum lead, and they're like, I want to talk to you about this, right? Great. And then we call them, and it's a bogus number. That's a non-connection. That means you did not connect with them, right? How many of them actually convert? Overall, you're at a 75% conversion rate. You're at a 50% conversion rate. You're at a 35% conversion rate. It does not matter what it is. You just need to know what it is. If you don't know exactly what it is, like I said, ballpark it. Estimate it. Try to get close, obviously, but guess it, okay? All right, let's keep moving. All right, here's an example. Let's say Bill, he wants to generate $2 million in 2025. All right, his average customer value per transaction is $3,500. His lead to connection rate, how many of them he talks to on the phone, is 98%. His show up rate to the call, to the Zoom, to the in-office appointment, to the whatever, is 75%. His show up rate to conversion rate, meaning how many he actually closes. He meets with X amount of people, his prospective clients, and he converts 65% of them. Okay? There's our numbers. So you can basically see that you're building a funnel from the top of the funnel down to conversion. Okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, type in sales funnel in Google, you'll see an image, right? But it's basically, you got this many leads at the top, boom, 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 and they whittle their way down all the way to they are now a paying customer, patient, or client, okay? So this is basically, I'm gonna walk you through this formula, don't freak out, okay? Basically, his leads that he needs, okay? He's got 2 million in gross, all right? So what you're gonna do to get the amount of leads that you need in a year, you take your 2 million, that's Bill's number. That's not your number unless it happens to be your number, right? 2 million. Now you're gonna divide it by each of those numbers I just told you. You're gonna take the 2 million, you're gonna divide it by 98%, then you're gonna divide that number by 75%, and you're gonna take that number divided by 65%, and you're gonna take that number and divide it by 3,500, which was his average transaction value. That gives you 1,196 leads that Bill needs in a year. It's just simple math, right? How many people, based on my revenue goals, which now you all know that, right? You all know your revenue goals. You're gonna make up numbers if you don't know it, but hopefully they're at least close to reality, so it's actually helpful. And then you're gonna do this math, and then boom, what Bill needs, 1,196 people in a year, that means he needs 99.6, we'll just round it up to 100 leads in a month. He now needs 25 leads in a week. That's what Bill needs, 25 leads in a week. If he's not hitting it, now he at least knows he's off. You need to be able to know where you're at and what you need to do. And if he says in 2 weeks, 1 week is 10, 1 week was 15. Okay, if you're going 2 weeks and you haven't hit your numbers, unless it's like Christmas time and you're just like, I'm just not even there. Listen, I'm on vacation, guys. I'm not even in the business. I don't have a staff to do it for me. Okay, fine. But if he's consistently, I would say about 2 weeks, not hitting your numbers, do something about it. Do something about it. Don't just sit your numbers and look at them and go, I'm not hitting my numbers. Oh, well, right? No, now you know what you want and now you know what you need. He knows, Bill needs, he needs 25 leads per week to hit his big number. A $2 million number is 100% growth for Bill. He was at $1 million, now he's going for $2 million, and he knows what he needs to do to get there. Okay? So this is, in case you like a formula, I color-coded it. I don't know if that's helpful for anybody. You know, boom. Basically, it's an algebra equation. My 7th graders do an algebra like this, right? You put X as the amount of leads, and then you put all the other variables equals the gross, right? And then you just start dividing. I will bring in my 5th grader next time. They can do it for you, right? So let's do it for you guys. Let's do it for you, okay? Write down, you got your gross revenue, right? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna ballpark what is your connection rate going to be for 2025? What is your show up rate going to be? You know what it was currently now, or at least have a decent idea or an estimation, a wild ass guess at best, or maybe at worst, right? What is your show up rate going to be? What is your conversion rate? How many customers do you have to talk to for one to say yes? And then what is your transaction value going to be? You know about what it is right now. Use your gut, right? David, I think it's about 10,000. I think it's $50. It doesn't matter what it is. Ballpark it. What is it? Okay? And then what is it going to be in 2025? All right? You can implement things now to increase your average transaction value easily. I'm telling you, you just have to provide more value to your customers. When you provide them more value, you would charge more, right? I'm gonna do an extra service. I'm gonna do more marketing. I'm gonna do, whatever, right? All right? Like Deneen, when you added payroll and HR, right? You're doing more value. You can charge more now, you're getting more per customer. 2 different servings instead of 1 service offering. Boom, your average transaction value just skyrocketed. Okay? Write down what it's going to be for 2025. All right? So therefore, this is what you're typing into your business plan. Therefore, to generate whatever it is, 2 million in sales in 2025, this is how you do it. Divide the gross revenue by the connection rate, divide that number by the projected show-up rate, divide that number by the projected conversion rate, divide that number by the projected average transaction value, divide it by 12 to get your monthly, divide it by 4, now you have your weekly leads that you need to hit your number, to take your kids on that vacation, to go home and not worry about it, to go to Spain whenever you damn well feel like it, because that's how good your business is. Or, I do this for 5 years and then I sell this sucker for a ton of money and I profit a F ton, right? And a crap ton, right? Whatever it is for you. And then you can talk to Enrique about selling your business. Formula, again, is this, in case that's helpful to anybody. You just put in your numbers in here. Is anybody making sense? Is this making sense? Making sense? What do you need to do? Right? Okay. Guys, you do this. If you do this monthly, how much power do you now have in the palm of your hand? Review. Now, not only do you know what it is that you're going to be doing in terms of your why, now you know how many leads you need per week, even if it's one lead. I need 1 lead because over a month, once my leads are huge, 1 lead and I close 1 of them in a month. Okay, fine. It's 1 lead a month, 1 lead a week equals 1 lead converted into a month, which pays me $250,000 because I got big prospective clients, right? It doesn't matter. Just know so that you can estimate and project this stuff, right? Or if you're a high volume business and it's a ton of transactions, I need a ton of transactions, right? Right? Then I ballpark it, right? John, you may have a high volume in your store. You need to know how many do I need in a given week, day, month? You can even break down to hours, right? Once you know what you want and why you want it, now you can do something about it if you're not there, right? Or things are going freaking amazing and you're like, man, I've already got a 50% growth. You know what? I'm going to double this again. Let's do another 50%. Yes, I know 50% is not doubling. But there's the formula, guys. All right? There's the formula. Now you know. Now you know how many leads you need in next year. And now we're going to talk about how we're going to get it. Okay? We saved the how for last on purpose. The how is last. The why is first. The what you're doing is second. Right? How? How are we getting it? Okay? I'm just going to put a whole bunch of marketing stuff on the board here. This is different for everybody. You got your digital stuff, LSA, PPC, SEO. There's just an alphabet soup for Google stuff, right? Social media, email marketing, drip, TV commercials, radio commercials, your franchisor referrals. If those of you who are working on a franchise model, right, and you're a franchisee, it's much different, right? It's much different. Printed ads, newspaper ads, magazine ads, networking, referrals, influencer marketing, podcasts, walk-ins if you have a storefront, right? Referrals, repeat business, existing customers, seminar and workshops. This is a drop in the bucket compared to what's out there, but this is a good summary, okay? Now, what you're not going to do, remember, is you're not just going to take a dart and throw it at the wall, right? You're not doing that. Experienced entrepreneurs do not operate that way. Do not be an immature entrepreneur, okay? What you're going to do, remember, you're A-plus client, customer, patient only. Only. You're only marketing to them. That's it. You're not marketing to anybody else, right? Maybe you'll take a B client if you feel charitable, right? But you're going for your A-plus only, right? And you're marketing to your A-plus only. Remember, you're marketing to them based on what they use to make their decisions. You need to understand that, right? So, now I want you to analyze what channels are you currently using? Remember the list? Okay? You are using some of this. I don't think there's probably anybody here that literally has zero marketing, even if you're word of mouth. Oh, I like people tell my new clients about me, and then they come to me. Well, that's a form of marketing. You're using existing client base, customer base, whatever, that is making referrals. It's a referral-based marketing strategy, right? There's no business that really can operate with zero marketing, at least not the one that I can really think of, okay? So of the channels that you use, how effective are they? Okay? Now this is gonna piss some of you off, and I'm okay, because when you get mad, you're gonna grow, because you're gonna get frustrated with the crap that you used to do. If you're using channels, and like when I first started my company, I pumped a bunch of money into PPC. I'm sure you could guess how effective that was. It was not effective at all. I had zero SEO, just pouring money into Google. They were happy to take my money, did nothing, right? I got a bunch of clicks. I can't feed my family with clicks, right? If you talk to a marketing vendor, they're like, David, I will get you impressions. Okay, well, can I feed my family with impressions? I don't even know what that is. I'm sure Warren can tell me what that is. I don't know what impressions are. Glenn, do you know what impressions are?
It's a vanity metric that does no good.
Yeah, it does nothing. Unless I can deposit in my bank, I don't care about it, right? How effective are these channels? You need to determine, my most effective marketing is talking to people I'm already working with, right? How can I provide you guys with more value? How can I help you more, right? And referral-based marketing is a huge thing for me, right? People introducing other people to me, they know, like, and trust. That means a lot to me. That's where most of my business comes from. I'm not dumping a bunch of my money into PPC, right? Pay-per-click, right? But you need to know what you're doing, because there's a lot of people out there who are dumping thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars down the toilet for marketing that doesn't work. But yet, because they're not tracking it, they're losing out. They're losing money, and they're also afraid to stop doing it. Because, David, if I stopped feeding, who runs Facebook? I don't even know who that. What was the guy's name? Zuckerberg. If I stop paying Zuckerberg's staff, I'm not going to get any leads. Wow. Man, that just infuriates. Yeah, you're paying him. That's fine. He's happy to take your money, but it's not doing anything for you. How much do you spend on these channels? And here's a better one. What kinds of clients or customers are you getting from these channels, right? If my returning clients are my favorites, but my Facebook prospective new clients are Fs, because David, I'm shopping around, baby, shopping around. And that just drives me crazy. Then why am I wasting my time on Facebook, right? It's just a great example, because it generally speaking, now not all businesses, but generally speaking, the people that I meet with from Facebook, not as good, right? Or the Google clickers, right? They're just spamming you, right, on your website or whatever, right? So you need to know what is your ROI from your channels. Know it. Now, when I say ROI, I'm talking return on investment. If I spend $1,000 and it produces $10,000 or $20,000, that's a pretty good return. I would take that. return. But if I spend $1,000 and I get $500 or I only get $1,000, what am I doing? Why am I doing this, right? You need to understand. Look at your channels that you're using and how much you're actually getting from it. If you don't know the numbers today, that's okay. Go back home tomorrow, unpack this, and figure it out. So you know what is actually working. Because what I don't want you to do is go through a bunch of new marketing strategies and you don't even know what your existing ones are producing. You don't know how much money you're spending. Look at the P&L. Gives you a little anxiety. That's okay. Do it anyways, right? So the lesson here is, should you keep fishing where you are, beating your head against the wall with what doesn't work? Or should you go where nobody is fishing? Or where your prospective clients actually are? Where are they? Where are they? Fish where the fish are. Don't fish where the sharks are in the ocean, right? Where everybody else is. That kind of thing. And I love kind of trash talking Facebook, but it's such a good example. Like Temecula Talk. I need a referral to someone who does air conditioning. How many people are going to comment on that stupid post, right? If you're going in there like, no, pick me. There's 1,000 people all competing for that same lead that's honestly going to be garbage anyways. Most likely, right? Because they're saturated with people that want them. Or oh my gosh, what an attention grab. This is so lovely, right? Not good for us. Go where the fish are Go where the people actually make their decisions for you and your services. It's different based on your business model, okay? So here's your turn, all right? Again, on the business plan, remember we're focusing on your A-plus clients only. Only, okay? You're gonna use what 4 channels? If you do more than 4, it's just gonna confuse you, water you down, it's gonna be hard to track. Pick a couple, all right? It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be, whatever, it could be 1, right? But I like to diversify a little bit, so I wanna do a little bit more than just 1, right? How many channels are you gonna use to go after your A-plus, the person that you wish you only served them, period, right? You've got someone in your head, you know who that is. How am I gonna go after this person? And if they're not they're not gonna be on Facebook, they're gonna talk to their CPA, and the CPA is gonna refer you to them. Now, who should you be marketing to? The CPA, thank you, the CPA, because that's the person, right, that they're going to get a referral from, right? You need to know that for you. Where's your A-plus client? How do you actually reach them? What decision makers do they have in their life or their business? Okay? What are the channels that are you going to use? All right? Now that you kind of know what you're using currently, right? How effective is it? How much money are you flushing down the toilet every month with marketing that doesn't work? Stop that. Track it. Stop it. And then go after the marketing that works, or at least try some stuff that you don't know whether it works or not. But you're going to make projections. All right? I'm going to get to that in just a second. Okay? You got your 4 channels. I had a list earlier, right? Let's get creative, right? Where's your actual ideal A-plus client actually going to pay attention to? Right? Are they on Google clicking around? Or are they talking with, their advisors, right? It depends on who your ideal client is. If you're going after a business owner, likely they're going to get referred to you. That's just the way it is, right? Okay, so here's what you're going to do. All right? So you already know what leads you want for the year, right? We already did that. Again, if you don't know exactly what it is, make it up. It does not matter. For the purpose of this, for right now, you're going to make it up. Now you know what you want per month and what you want per week in terms of your leads, even if it's a fraction, because you don't need that many leads. That's okay. You got your channels. How many leads do you actually expect from that channel? Okay, if you know that you need 200 leads a month, right? That's 25 a week. Where are you going to get that 100 per month? Where's that going to come from? Break it down in terms of your channels. How are you going to get that 100? Because if you're like, David, I want to double my business next year, all right, okay. Now my next question is how many leads do you need? Based on your metrics, based on how much you actually convert. How many leads do you actually need? All right? And then now we know how many leads you're going to get. Great. We got a great number to work with. Where are those leads going to come from? If you got 100 leads per month, okay, I'm going to do 50 from referrals, 25 from returning new clients, patients, customers, and 25 will be from Google or whatever. 5 from Google, 10 from Facebook, 10 from, I don't know, whatever. TikTok or something. I don't know. I literally have never done a TikTok video. But where are you going to get your leads, right? Mark it down and then revisit it in a month. Revisit it. You got to track this stuff. Where are your leads, customers, patients, whatever, coming from? If you don't know where they're coming from, you got some work to do, right? You got some work to do. Analyze your numbers. Look at what you're actually producing. How much are you spending on your marketing? And stop the bleeding. Stop wasting money and throwing it down the toilet for marketing that will not work, right? You got to know from a networking groups, a couple of us here on BNI, how much business are you actually getting from BNI, right? How much are you actually money in the bank, right? How many leads are you getting from BNI or any other networking group, whether it's a Chamber of Commerce or Toastmasters or whatever? If you're putting your time into Toastmasters, how much are you actually getting from that? And unless you're there strictly just to enjoy yourself and you really don't care about a return, that's a whole nother conversation to have. But if you're not getting money from it and you're not getting leads, then you're not marketing, or at least it's the worst marketing ever, right? What are you getting from BNI? How many leads are you getting per month? How much of your revenue are you getting per week, per month, right? That's one category. If you want to get to double your business, you now know the leads. Pick your channels and project how many leads are you getting per month. Does this make sense? I feel like I'm beating this into the wall right now. Are you guys getting this? Do you understand the power of this? Do you understand how this could revolutionize your business if you're not doing this now? If you're already doing this, great. And you're just going to revisit it, right? But if you're not doing this now and you have not tracked this stuff before and come up with projections to hit your ideal lifestyle, to go to Spain 4 times a year because you just freaking feel like it, right? You're like, I'm bored. Let's go to Ireland, right? Let's take a cruise because I can, and it will not give me any more stress. Because my business operates like a business, right? Now you know what you need to do to get that. How are we doing? Okay, we're gonna a little bit behind. We're gonna pump it up a little bit. Okay, guys, I'm gonna move on. And if you haven't finished this tonight, do it. Tomorrow, block out some time. Or if you don't have time tomorrow to do it, put something in your calendar, right? Not right now. I told you to put your phones away. But when you get home, block it out. When are you gonna go through this and finish this plan? Right? Because you got a couple of months until 2025, right? But this needs to be decided months in advance of 2025. If you're like December and it's like, holy crap, Christmas is in a week, and you don't have your business plan down for 2025, you are behind, right? This is a key part of your plan. And I've built this class, our content, in a very specific formula, starting with the overall mission of the firm, the business, the company, the whatever. Why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? What are my numbers and how am I going to get my numbers? This is how you build this stuff out, okay? The order here is very intentional. All right? If you do it in a different way, like, okay, I'm just going to start with marketing. If you don't know what your numbers are, can you see how pointless that would be? To like just start, I'm just going to do I'm going to hire a vendor to market for me. Okay, we got a whole nother conversation, right? You got to make sure you're working with someone that you're holding them accountable, right? A really good marketer, right, Warren, is going to have metrics for you to track them. Your marketing vendor, you should be able to pull numbers on them to see how they're performing whenever you so choose.